The closet was half empty when I came home. Her perfume lingered, but the air already felt like absence. I stood there for a long time, just looking at the space where her dresses used to hang. One hanger still swung slowly, tapping against the wood. Then my phone buzzed. "You'll never understand what I needed." That was all she wrote. No goodbye. No explanation. Just that sentence, sharp enough to carve through bone. I called her once. Straight to voicemail. "Sam," I said, "if this is about the argument, we can talk. Just call me back." I waited. The silence after my voice ended was louder than any answer could have been. I left the phone on the counter, screen glowing with her name, unread, unreachable. The clock ticked past midnight before I finally sat down. The table still had 2 plates from breakfast, her untouched toast, my empty cup. She used to complain I drank too much coffee. "You hide behind it," she'd say. "Like it makes you stronger." I didn't argue then. I don't now. The front door opened quietly, not in memory, but in flashback. "Ethan," she'd said that morning, tying her hair back. "Do you ever wonder what comes after comfort?" I frowned. "What do you mean?" "Like when life stops challenging you. When it just becomes still." I thought stillness was peace. She smiled, distant. Or maybe it's just boredom dressed in calm. I'd laughed it off. "You're overthinking again." "Maybe," she'd said. "Or maybe you're underfeeling." I didn't realize it then, but she'd already started leaving. I picked up her mug from the sink. Lipstick smudge. Light pink. It looked fresh, as if she'd taken one last sip before deciding I wasn't worth another. Jake, my driver, called around 1. "Boss, you need a pickup tonight?" "No," I said. "You sound rough. I'm fine. You sure?" "Yeah," I lied. "Just a long day." I opened her drawer. Empty. The vanity mirror stared back at me, clean and cruel. Every trace of her life here, gone in hours. I whispered, "How long were you planning this?" The walls didn't answer. They never do. The next morning, Clara called. "Ethan, you didn't show up for the meeting. I'm taking a day. You never take days. I'm making an exception." Pause. "Did something happen?" "She left." Oh, that single word. Soft, sympathetic, useless. "I'm fine," I said again. "You don't sound fine." "I'm not 12, Clara. People leave." "It happens," she sighed. "Yeah, but not like that." When I walked back into the bedroom, sunlight fell on the side of the bed she used to sleep on. Neat, cold, perfectly made. I sat down on my side and stared at the empty half. "This is ridiculous," I muttered. I turned on the TV just to drown out the silence. Static, news, anything. But everything she touched echoed louder than words. The framed photo on the shelf, the faint scent of her shampoo, the book she'd never finished reading. I opened it. A note slipped out. 2 words. "Be happy." I almost laughed. "You took everything, Sam. What's left to be happy with?" Around noon, my mother called. "You sound distant," she said. "I'm just tired." "You sound more than tired." She left. Silence. Then gently, "Oh, Ethan." "Don't," I said. "She'll regret it." I don't think regret's in her vocabulary. She loved you once. I'm starting to think that was imagination. "No," she said softly. "It was just temporary. That night I poured myself a drink. I don't drink much. I prefer control, but control left with her." I stared at the amber in the glass. "You'll never understand what I needed," I repeated quietly. Needed what? Attention? Validation? Freedom? She'd had all of it. At least I thought she did. I checked her messages again. Nothing new. The house buzzed with electricity, lights humming, fridge running, like it was pretending someone else still lived here. I stood in the hallway, half expecting her to come back. She didn't. Later, when the clock hit 2 a.m., I opened her laptop, photos, old emails, work files, nothing personal. She'd scrubbed it clean, but one picture folder remained, hidden deep. I clicked it open. Her smile, his arm around her, Ryan Blake, her business partner. My chest didn't explode. It just sank. I stared at the screen until it dimmed itself out. Clara texted again. "Clara, you need anything?" Me. "No, Clara, You always say that. Me. Because it's true. But it wasn't. The truth was, I needed her to call me back. To tell me it was all a mistake. To say the photo was nothing. But the silence kept winning. When dawn arrived, I found myself in the office. The city looked the same, cold glass and moving parts. I buried myself in numbers, contracts, deals, anything that wasn't emotion. That's how I survive. By pretending the wound is a calculation. Clara stopped by later, coffee in hand. You sure you want to be here? I need to work. You need to heal. I'll do both, I said. When she left, I leaned back in the chair. The window reflected my face. Tired, hollow, almost foreign. She was right. I didn't understand what Sam needed, but she'd understand soon enough what I was capable of. I didn't know it then, but her new life already belonged to me. She just didn't know who owned it yet. It started with a name, hers, floating through an office hallway like a ghost that refused to stay buried. I was on my way to a meeting when Clara said it. Sam Cole? She murmured to someone near the break room. That can't be the same one. I stopped walking. What did you just say? She turned, startled. Ethan, nothing important. Just gossip. Gossip about what? She hesitated. You don't want to hear this. Try me. Clara sighed, lowering her voice. Apparently, there's a Samantha Cole working over at Axiom Media. People are saying she joined last month. Might be coincidence. It's not, I said quietly. Her eyes softened. Ethan, who told you? HR chatter. Someone mentioned she came with a referral from Ryan Blake. The name dropped like a weight. Ryan, of course. I walked back to my office. Clara followed, closing the door behind us. You can't get involved, she said. If it's really her, just let it be. Let it be. I repeated. She left without a word. That's exactly why you shouldn't go near this. You're finally stable again. Stable, I muttered. You think I'm stable because I stopped talking about her? She crossed her arms. You're pretending she doesn't exist. That's not stability, Ethan. That's denial. Maybe denial keeps me efficient, she sighed. I'm serious. If you reach out, I won't, I said. I just want to know what she's doing. Why? Because she's working for me, her brow furrowed. What? Axiom Media, I said. We acquired them 2 months ago through EC Holdings. It's one of ours. Clara stared at me. You're kidding. I don't kid. You're telling me your ex-wife is working for your company and doesn't know it? That's what I'm saying. She rubbed her forehead. Oh my God. I sat down, opened the company database, and typed her name. Samantha Cole, Senior Account Strategist, Marketing Division. I scrolled. There he was too, Ryan Blake, Executive Director, Client Operations, 2 profiles, 2 promotions. Same department. Clara stood behind me, whispering, Don't do this to yourself. I'm not doing anything, I said. Just reading facts. You're doing more than that. You're planning. I looked up at her. What if I am? She frowned. This isn't healthy. Neither is betrayal, I said. An hour later, I called Maya from HR. Her voice came through calm and professional. Mr. Cole, how can I help? I need a quiet check on a few employees at Axiom Media, I said. Names? Samantha Cole, Ryan Blake. I want behavioral notes, internal evaluations, anything unusual. She paused. Is this a formal request? Informal. Keep it off record. Understood. Discretion guaranteed. Good. Before hanging up, she asked, May I ask why? I smiled faintly. Personal curiosity. Clara appeared in the doorway again. You look like a man plotting a war. Observation isn't war. Not yet, she said. You're playing with fire. I own the fire, I said. That doesn't mean it won't burn you. Maybe I need the heat, I replied. She shook her head. You can't keep controlling everything to feel safe. I'm not controlling her, I said. Just watching the show she signed up for. Clara sighed. You sound like someone who misses the stage. I didn't respond. That night, I sat in my apartment scrolling through Axiom's internal news, photos from their company gala. Ryan smiling. Sam beside him, champagne in hand, her laugh frozen mid-frame, the same tilt of her head, The same eyes that once said, "I love you" without words. I closed the laptop. The silence felt like glass in my lungs. Then my phone buzzed. Maya again. "Mr. Cole," she said, "I finished your request. Tell me." They're close. Very close. He brings her to executive dinners, covers for her when she's late. People talk. What do they say? That she's his shadow. Some even joke they're married. My fingers tightened around the phone. Anything else? She's good at her job, talented, confident, but everyone says he takes credit for her ideas. I laughed once bitterly. She always did like being someone's reflection. Maya hesitated. Should I dig deeper? No, you've done enough. After I hung up, I sat in the dark for a while. The city lights flickered through the window like small, distant fires. I imagined them together. The laughter, the shared looks, the secret thrill of betrayal disguised as success. I could almost hear her voice. "You'll never understand what I needed." Maybe she was right, but what she didn't understand was that her new beginning was built on my foundation. The next morning, Clara came in early. "You didn't sleep, did you?" "No." "You're making that face again." "What face?" "The one you make before you change someone's future." I smiled faintly. "Relax, I'm not doing anything yet." "Yet," she repeated. "That's the word that worries me." "Clara," I said, leaning back in my chair, "let them build their castle." She folded her arms. "And you'll what?" I looked out the window at the skyline. "I'll own the land beneath it." Her voice dropped. "Ethan, this isn't business anymore. This is personal." It was personal the moment she walked out that door. She said nothing for a long time. Then softly, "You think hurting them will fix you?" I met her eyes. "No, but it might remind me I'm still here." Clara's expression softened. "You're still here, Ethan. You just forgot what that means." "Then maybe it's time I remembered," I said quietly. She sighed, turning to leave. "Be careful." I always am. When the door closed, I opened the Axiom file again. 2 names glowed on the screen, hers and his. I traced them with my eyes, calm and deliberate. Not rage, not grief, just precision. She thought she'd started over. She had no idea whose game she was playing, and this time, I wouldn't lose. The car ride to Axiom felt like stepping into a dream I didn't ask for. The city blurred past, all glass and motion. I watched my reflection in the window, steady, expressionless, already rehearsing the silence I'd weaponize. Jake glanced at me from the driver's seat. "You sure about this, boss?" "Completely." "You're walking into a place full of ghosts." "I am the ghost," I said. He nodded, lips tight, and parked in front of the building. The lobby smelled the same as every corporate tower I've ever owned. Sterile ambition. I checked in under my alias, EC Holdings. No one questioned it. Money always erases curiosity. Clara met me near the elevators. Her tone was clipped. "You really showed up. Didn't think I would?" "I hoped you wouldn't." I smiled faintly. "Hope's overrated. You're crossing a line, Ethan." "I drew the line," I said. "Now I'm walking it," she sighed. "At least try to be civil." "I plan to be," I said. "Civility makes the knife cleaner." She didn't answer. The boardroom was glass and chrome, high ceiling, polished table, false confidence. Ryan Blake stood near the head of the table, laughing too loudly. His suit was perfect, his ego louder. Sam sat beside him, pen in hand, pretending to be composed. I walked in last. The room went quiet. Ryan stepped forward. "Ah, the representative from EC Holdings. We've been waiting." I extended my hand. "Ethan Cole," he shook it firmly. "Ryan Blake, pleasure." Sam didn't look up at first. "Not until I spoke again." "Let's begin," I said. Her head lifted slowly. Our eyes met. The blood drained from her face before she caught herself, forcing a smile. "Mr. Cole, welcome." Her voice trembled just slightly, enough for me to hear it. "Mrs. Cole," I said smoothly. "Oh, pardon me, Ms. Cole now, isn't it?" A flicker in her eyes. The room went still. Ryan looked between us. "You two know each other?" I smiled. "Once upon a time," Sam forced a laugh. "Small world, right?" "Smaller than you think." Ryan started the presentation, full of buzzwords and bravado. "We're pushing innovation through bold leadership," he said, gesturing at slides like a performer. "Our projected revenue increase is 20% post-merger." I nodded. "Impressive confidence." "Confidence backed by performance," he said proudly. "Axiom's success is built on loyalty." "Loyalty," I repeated quietly. "That's rare," Ryan grinned. "It's everything." Sam's pen froze mid-air. I leaned back. "And tell me, Mr. Blake, and how do you define loyalty?" He laughed. "Standing by your team, of course. Through anything. Even when they lie?" The smile faltered. "Excuse me? Even when loyalty costs you something?" He blinked. "Well, depends on the situation." I turned to Sam. "What do you think?" Her throat moved. "I think loyalty only matters when it's real." "Agreed," I said softly. "Otherwise, it's just decoration." The room buzzed with forced laughter. Ryan kept talking. I barely listened. My focus stayed on her. Every nervous glance, every attempt to appear calm. She looked at me once like she wanted to say something, but didn't. Good. Let her sit in the silence she created. After the presentation, Ryan extended his hand again. "I hope this partnership satisfies your firm's expectations." "It does," I said. "Especially your personal commitment." He smiled, relieved. "Thank you." I leaned in slightly. "Loyalty looks good on you, Ryan. Keep wearing it." He laughed, uncertain. "I intend to." Sam avoided my gaze entirely. As I left the room, Clara was waiting in the hallway, arms crossed. "Well?" she asked. Enlightening. "What did you get out of it besides discomfort?" "Perspective." "Perspective on what?" "How little guilt looks when it's dressed in success." She frowned. "You humiliated her, did I?" "You called her out in front of her team." "I asked about loyalty," I said. "Hardly an accusation." "Ethan," she looked terrified. I smiled faintly. "Then she remembers me. That's cruel." "You can't break what's already dead," I said. Her eyes softened. "You keep saying that like it makes you whole." "I'm not trying to be whole," I said. "I'm trying to be done." We walked to the elevator. Clara kept her voice low. "What's your end game here?" "End game?" I asked. "You make it sound like I'm playing." "You are? You just don't know it." I pressed the button. "Then let's see who wins." Back in the car, Jake glanced in the rearview mirror. "How'd it go?" "Better than expected. You see her?" "Yes. How'd she look?" "Like someone standing on thin ice." He nodded. "And you?" "Like the one holding the lighter." Jake sighed. "Boss, sometimes victory costs more than loss." "I already paid for loss," I said quietly. "This one's free." That night, Clara called. "You're not sleeping again, are you?" "No." "You're spiraling, Ethan." "I'm focused." "Focused on what?" "Making her suffer?" "No," I said. "Making her remember." She exhaled hard. "You're not the man I used to work for. I'm still him." Just without the blindfold, she paused. "Do you ever miss who you were?" "Every day," I admitted. "But missing doesn't bring him back." "Then what will?" "Closure," I said. "In whatever form it takes." After I hung up, I stood by the window, watching the city burn in reflected lights. Somewhere out there, she was probably telling herself it didn't matter, that the past had no power anymore. She was wrong, because ghosts don't fade, they wait, and I was finally done waiting. It's strange how rage fades, not all at once, like a storm clearing over still water. Now when I see her, I don't feel fury. I feel curiosity. From my office window overlooking Axiom's courtyard, I watch her. She's laughing beside Ryan, tilting her head the same way she once did with me. Same smile. Same pattern. Jake walked in quietly. "You're watching her again." "I'm observing," I said. "Same difference." "No," I said. "Observation requires distance," he smirked. "An obsession hides behind fancy words." I didn't reply. I just kept looking. Ryan put his hand on her shoulder. Too familiar. Too easy. She didn't flinch. Jake sighed. "You planning to tell her who signs her paycheck?" "Eventually. Why not now?" "Because she's still living in the illusion," I said. "I want her to enjoy it a little longer." Later that afternoon, Clara stormed into my office, eyes sharp. "You're slipping," she said. "How?" "You're spending hours watching Axiom's internal footage." You even had Jake wire their conference room feed into your system. I'm assessing employee performance. Cut the corporate nonsense, Ethan. I smiled faintly. You always could read between the lies. That's because you stopped being subtle. Maybe I'm done pretending subtlety is strength. She exhaled, frustrated. You need help. Talk to someone. Like who? Dr. Harris, I made you an appointment. You either go or I walk. I looked at her. You'd really quit over this? I'd quit watching you destroy yourself. I didn't argue. I never did with Clara. She was usually right. Dr. Harris's office was nothing like I imagined. No stiff chairs, no sterile walls. Just soft light and quiet. He smiled when I entered. Mr. Cole, please sit. Call me Ethan, I said, sitting across from him. He nodded. You've been through quite a storm. So they tell me. He leaned back. I read some background. Divorce, corporate restructuring, loss of trust. People recover from worse, I said. They do, he replied. But recovery and replacement aren't the same. I looked at him. Replacement? Filling emptiness with control, power, revenge. I chuckled softly. You make it sound poetic. It's dangerous, he said simply. Revenge mimics closure. Don't confuse the two. I kept my tone neutral. I'm not seeking revenge. He tilted his head. Then what are you seeking? Understanding, I said, of her, of myself. By watching her, by remembering what I became when she left. He smiled faintly. And what did you become? Efficient. He studied me for a moment. You've turned pain into precision. I call that progress. He shook his head gently. Progress isn't numbness, Ethan, it's peace. I'm getting there, I said. No, he said softly. You're getting even. I didn't answer. He let the silence stretch before saying, You're intelligent enough to know revenge doesn't end where you think it does. Then maybe I'll redefine the ending, I said. His eyes narrowed slightly. Do you want her to regret losing you or to remember you? That question hit harder than I expected. Both, I admitted. He nodded. Honesty. That's where healing begins. Maybe, I said, standing. But healing's not my priority. He smiled faintly. Not yet. That night, I couldn't sleep. Harris's words replayed in my mind. Revenge mimics closure. He was wrong. Closure was something you earned by rewriting the story, and I was about to write the next chapter myself. The following morning, I called Clara. Set a meeting, I said. With who? Sam and Ryan, a private strategy dinner. Tell them it's from the board, her voice sharpened. For what purpose? To discuss their department's future integration. She hesitated. You're not going to humiliate her again, are you? No, I said. This isn't about humiliation. It's about perspective. I don't like that tone, she muttered. You're not supposed to. Ethan? Yes? Don't cross the line. I crossed it the night she walked out, I said. This is just me walking farther. That evening, Jake dropped by with a file. Dinner details confirmed. They think it's a promotion pitch. Good, I said. You sure about this? Absolutely, he raised an eyebrow. You sound calm. I am calm. Too calm. That's what scares you, isn't it? I asked. Yeah, he said quietly. Because calm means you're planning something you'll regret. I don't do regret anymore. I spent the rest of the night reading her profile again. Axiom's glowing description of her achievements. Creative, reliable, essential to client retention. Ryan's note at the bottom. Her insights have transformed our strategies. I laughed under my breath. He's quoting me and doesn't even know it. The irony was poetic. She was standing in the empire I built, believing she'd escaped me, working for a man who thought he'd earned her loyalty. They didn't realize both were on my payroll. Before shutting down the computer, I recorded a short note in my private log, a habit I'd picked up since Harris. I don't hate her anymore, I said into the mic. I just want her to see me, and not who I was, but who she created. The man she doesn't know yet, I paused, listening to my own voice echo back through the speakers. Cold, detached, unfamiliar. Maybe that was the point. The next morning, Clara stood in my doorway. They accepted the dinner invitation, she said. Of course they did. She studied me. You're scaring me, Ethan. Don't be scared, I said softly. Be patient. Why do I feel like I'm watching a tragedy unfold? Because you are, I said. She shook her head. You think you're the director, but you're still part of the play. Maybe, I said, but I wrote the script. When she left, I sat in silence, watching the clock tick down to the dinner meeting. I wasn't nervous. Not angry, just ready. This wasn't revenge anymore, it was revelation, and she wouldn't see me coming. I smiled. Always good to meet the talent behind success. He grinned, pleased. Wait till you see our plans for next quarter. I'm looking forward to it. Then she walked in. Sam. The light caught her hair first. Same color, same movement, but everything else had changed. Her dress was elegant. Her smile rehearsed. Mr. Cole, she said, extending her hand. It's an honor. I shook it lightly. The honor's mine. Her skin was warm. My pulse wasn't. Ryan started the evening with charm and statistics. We've streamlined the media branch, cut redundancies, boosted profit margins. Impressive, I said. Seems like you've built something solid. He raised his glass. To new partnerships. To old lessons, I murmured. Sam tilted her head. What kind of lessons, Mr. Cole? The kind that teach you people don't always stay where you leave them. She smiled politely, not understanding. Yet, dinner came. Expensive silence with seasoning. Ryan kept the conversation alive. Sam's been instrumental in client retention. Couldn't have done half this without her. She laughed softly. You're too kind. I'm only accurate, he said. I leaned back. Sounds like you make quite the team. We do, Sam said, confidence radiating. It's good to build something clean. Clean? I repeated. She met my eyes. Without the weight of the past, Ryan laughed. That's her motto. Always looking forward, I smiled faintly. A noble trait. But some pasts don't stay buried. Her fork paused midair. That's true, she said carefully. But sometimes it's better when they do. Maybe, I said. Unless the dead start talking again. She blinked, uncertain. Excuse me? Just a metaphor, I said smoothly. Ryan changed the subject, oblivious. Sam tells me you're from EC Holdings, quite the mystery company. Anonymity has advantages, I said. Like what? Seeing people's real faces. Sam's hand tightened on her napkin. Halfway through dessert, Ryan excused himself to take a call. It was just us now. She broke the silence first. You remind me of someone, do I? Yes, someone I used to know. Someone brilliant but empty? Her eyes widened. You heard that? I hear many things, I said quietly. She looked away. I didn't mean it cruelly. I know, I said. You meant it honestly. Her voice dropped. Ethan was complicated. I kept my tone calm. Maybe emptiness makes room for growth, her breath caught. That's something he would have said. Maybe he did. She stared at me then, really stared, and the recognition began to dawn. Her lips parted slightly, but no sound came. I smiled faintly. You look like you've seen a ghost. Ethan, she whispered. The sound of my name from her mouth felt foreign. Not quite, I said. Ghosts haunt the past. I own the present. Her chair scraped softly as she stood. You're alive. So it seems. Why didn't you... Why... You told everyone I was gone, I said evenly. Why ruin your story? Her eyes filled, panic beneath the mascara. I thought... Don't lie to me, Sam. I didn't know what else to do. You could have told the truth. Her hands trembled. I was scared. Of me? Of what we became. I leaned forward. You didn't run from what we became. You ran to something easier? Her voice cracked. Ryan isn't me, I interrupted. And that's exactly why you chose him. She looked down. I moved on. I noticed. Tears rimmed her eyes. Does this mean you're here for revenge? No, I said. I'm here for perspective. Perspective? To see if the woman who buried me still smiles the same. Her tears spilled. Ethan, please don't, I said. Save your apologies for someone who still cares, she whispered. You can't just show up and ruin everything. I stood. I didn't ruin anything. I built what you're standing on. Her eyes flickered confusion. What does that mean? It means this dinner was business, I said calmly. And business is personal. Ryan returned just as I picked up my coat. Leaving so soon? He asked. Yes. Congratulations on the merger's success, I said. He smiled proudly. We couldn't have done it without Sam. I'm sure, I said. Sam stared at me pale. I paused by her chair. Congratulations on your promotion, Mrs. Blake, Ryan laughed. Not yet. We're not married. Soon enough, I said. Walking away. Her whisper followed me out. Trembling, barely audible. Ethan, please if I didn't turn back. Outside, the night air hit like a confession. Jake was waiting by the car. How'd it go? She's still pretending, I said, and you? I'm done pretending. He opened the door. What's next? I looked up at the restaurant lights. Let her feel the weight she said she was free from. Jake hesitated. You sure you're ready for that? I smiled faintly. She told her world I was gone. It's time to remind her what the living can do. The door shut behind me, and for the first time, I didn't feel dead anymore. The restaurant was all glass and gold, expensive enough to make people behave. I arrived early, ordered a drink I didn't plan to finish, and waited. Ryan came first, loud, confident, unaware. He clapped me on the shoulder. Mr. Cole! Glad we could finally meet in a less formal setting. It started with a whisper, not from me, from the system itself. By noon, Axiom Media was on fire. Not literally, but reputationally. Emails flew like sparks through dry air. Urgent, immediate review, confidential breach. I sat in my office, coffee untouched, watching the building across the street, my building, start to eat itself alive. Clara burst through the door. What did you do? Nothing, I said. Bullshit. I swear, I said calmly. I didn't touch a thing. She slammed a folder onto my desk. Ryan Blake, suspended pending investigation. Financial misconduct. Over $200,000 traced to his account. I didn't look up. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate? She repeated. You sound like you're reading a weather report. Perspective helps, I said. She leaned forward. Tell me you didn't engineer this. I looked her dead in the eye. I didn't, but I didn't stop it either. She exhaled sharply. And Sam? What about her? She's under internal audit for falsified travel expenses. I smiled faintly. Maya's thorough. She hates sloppy paperwork. You used her. I asked her to do her job. Ethan, you're manipulating everyone like chess pieces. Correction, I said softly. I'm just watching the board play itself. Down below, through the glass, I could see Ryan pacing in the lobby. Phone glued to his ear, sweat on his forehead. Sam stood nearby, frozen in her tailored guilt. They looked small, fragile, human. Jake walked in quietly. It's official, he said. Blake's out. HR escorted him off the floor. CFO's calling it an internal betrayal. And Sam? Suspended until the audit's done, I nodded. Efficient. You're enjoying this. I swiveled my chair slightly. I'm observing cause and effect. 'Cause being you, Jake said. No, I said. 'Cause being arrogance. He folded his arms. And effect being ruin? Effect being balance, Clara's voice cracked. You think this is justice? It's symmetry, I said. Symmetry doesn't make it right. Neither did betrayal. She sat down, defeated. You're becoming the thing you hate. I'm becoming what they created. That's not strength, she said. That's surrender. I looked at her. Sometimes justice just needs a little push. She stood, shaking her head. You sound proud of that. I sound honest, I said. By afternoon, the news spread. Corporate scandal at Axiom Media flashed across the ticker on my office screen. The irony was exquisite. Maya called around 4. Her tone was steady, professional. Mr. Cole, she said, everything's confirmed. The funds in Ryan's account matched the discrepancies we flagged. Sam's expense reports were altered by her login credentials. Good work, I said. She hesitated. There's more. Go on. She tried to delete the files. Of course she did. I stopped her access, she said. But she looked lost. People often do when the masks come off. She was silent for a beat. Do you want me to proceed with formal termination? No, I said. Let the investigation play out. May I ask why? Because I want her to sit in uncertainty. Maya sighed quietly. You're not doing this for justice anymore." "I know," I said. She didn't reply. At 6, I walked to the glass wall again. Sam sat alone in the lobby, her face buried in her hands. The same woman who once smiled at her reflection now looked like she was meeting her ghost. I thought I'd feel triumph. I didn't. It just felt quiet. Clara came back one last time that evening. "You won," she said flatly. "Did I? Don't play dumb. They're both finished." "Justice moves fast when it's ready," I said. She glared. "Stop dressing cruelty as philosophy." I turned toward her. "Do you remember what you told me after she left?" She frowned. "What?" "You said time would fix me. That I'd forgive eventually. And you didn't." "I did," I said softly. "Just not the way you wanted." She shook her head. "Forgiveness isn't watching people burn. It's watching them light their own match." "Then what are you?" she asked quietly. "Their witness or their executioner?" "Maybe both," I said. She sighed. "You think you're in control, Ethan, but this," she gestured toward the chaos below, "this owns you more than she ever did." "Maybe," I said. "But control feels cleaner than heartbreak." She stared at me for a long moment. "You used to believe in redemption. I used to believe in her. And now? I believe in results." By nightfall, the office was silent. Everyone had gone home. Except me. I sat in the dark, the city glowing outside, like a world that didn't care who fell or why. I pulled up the news again. Ryan Blake's photo, once charming, now disheveled, filled the screen. Underneath, bold letters read, "Executive accused of embezzlement and breach of trust." Sam's name appeared in smaller print. "Suspension pending internal review." The irony stung. I whispered, "Poetic." Then I laughed once, dry, hollow, nothing human in the sound. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Ethan, please. We need to talk." "Sam," I stared at it. For a second, I almost replied. Almost. Then I deleted it. Jake walked in without knocking. "You're still here?" "Couldn't sleep." He leaned against the doorframe. "So what's next? Fire her?" "No," I said. "I've done enough." He studied me. "You don't look satisfied." "I'm not. That's what I was afraid of." I looked at him. "Why?" "Because people who get what they want and still feel empty usually go looking for something worse." I didn't answer. He sat across from me. "Tell me the truth. What did it feel like?" "Seeing them crumble?" "Like watching a movie I'd already seen," I said. "Same ending, just fewer tears." He nodded slowly. "You ever think maybe karma didn't do this? Maybe you did?" I smiled faintly. "Does it matter?" "Yeah," he said quietly. "Because karma doesn't stare out the window at midnight wondering if it's still human." That one landed. I turned to the glass again. The reflection staring back wasn't the man she left. It was something colder, sharper, unrecognizable. Jake stood. "Go home, Ethan." "I am home," I said softly. He left without another word. The office hummed faintly. Air vents. Machines, life pretending to exist. I sat there, watching the empty skyline until the lights flickered. Somewhere down below, someone was crying. Maybe her. Maybe me. But either way, the sound didn't change a thing. I'd won, and victory had never tasted so much like ash. I didn't expect her to come back. No one ever does when everything they built burns down. But there she was, standing in my doorway, eyes red, clothes wrinkled, clutching her handbag like it was the only thing keeping her alive. "Ethan," she whispered. "Please, can I come in?" I didn't move at first. "You already are." She hesitated, then stepped forward. "I didn't know where else to go." "That makes two of us," I said. Her voice cracked. "I just needed to explain." "Explain what?" "Everything." I gestured toward the chair across from my desk. "Then sit." She sat. Her hands trembled against her lap. "I didn't steal anything," she said quickly. "Ryan made it look that way." "I know," I said. She blinked. You know?" "I had the audit reports before HR did." "Then why didn't you tell them?" "Because truth doesn't need me to shout for it," I said. "It finds its way out." Her shoulders shook. "He used me. He told me we'd start our own company. I thought he cared." I nodded slowly. "That's what I thought about you." She flinched. "That's not fair." Fairness, I said softly, was never part of our story. She buried her face in her hands. I made a mistake. Which part? I asked. Leaving, lying, or pretending I was dead so you could start over? Tears spilled through her fingers. I panicked. You were distant, cold, and you were bored, I interrupted. So you chose chaos over conversation. She looked up, eyes pleading. I didn't want to hurt you. You didn't want to feel guilty, I corrected. She fell silent. The air between us thickened with everything she never said. After a while, she whispered, I miss you. I studied her. Not the woman in front of me, but the memory she carried. You miss the version of me that needed you, I said. He's gone, she shook her head. You don't mean that. I do, her voice rose. You think I haven't suffered? My career's gone, your name? I laughed quietly. You're worried about your name? I lost my life, Sam. Her tears came harder. I was scared. So was I said evenly. But I didn't trade loyalty for comfort. She pressed her palms to her eyes. I didn't know what love was back then. And now I do. Then use it better next time. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. That's it? That's everything, I said. Silence, the kind that hums like static, heavy, endless. Finally, she whispered, Do you hate me? I thought about it. Really thought hate used to feel like power. Now it just felt heavy. No, I said. I don't hate you, she exhaled shakily. Then what do you feel? Peace, I said. Because I finally understand what you were, a lesson I had to learn the hard way. Her lip quivered. I never wanted to be your lesson. No one ever does, I said. She stared down at her shaking hands. Is there any way to fix this? No, I said quietly. Because it isn't broken anymore. It's over, she stood slowly. I wish you'd yell at me, she said. I could live with anger. But this is worse, I finished, she nodded. Because it means you stopped feeling. I had to, I said. You can't heal with open wounds. She stepped closer, eyes searching mine. I loved you, Ethan, I smiled faintly. Then I hope you loved me enough to remember who I was before you buried me. She bit her lip, tears streaking her face. I thought you were gone forever. I was, I said. You made sure of it. Her hand lifted slightly, like she wanted to touch me, then dropped. I'm sorry, she whispered. I believe you, I said. But sorry doesn't change the story, it just ends it softer. She looked around the office, maybe realizing for the first time how high up we were, how far she'd fallen. Are you going to tell them I'm innocent? They'll figure it out, I said. The truth's louder than you think, she nodded weakly. You could save me. I could, I said. But saving you would make me the same fool twice. Her breath hitched. Please. I turned my gaze to the window. You don't want me back, Sam. You want your life back. She froze. Her voice broke. I just want forgiveness. You already have it, I said. But it's not for you, she frowned. What does that mean? It means I'm done carrying what you dropped. Her tears fell silently. You've changed. I had to, I said. You don't survive something like this by staying the same. She stood there for a long moment, shaking. Then she whispered, I hope one day you remember the good parts. I already do, I said. They're just not enough anymore. She gave a small, broken smile. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Sam. She turned to leave, pausing at the door. For what it's worth, you deserved better, I nodded. I finally agree with you. The door clicked shut behind her. For a long time, I just sat there, staring at the empty chair, at the air still thick with her perfume and regret. I expected relief. What I felt was quieter, not victory, not bitterness, just space. I leaned back in my chair and whispered to no one, forgiveness isn't for her, it's for me. The city lights flickered beyond the glass, and for the first time, I realized they didn't look like fire anymore. They looked like peace. I wrote her name first, just her name. It looked foreign on paper, like it belonged to a different language, one I'd finally stopped speaking. Then I started writing, Sam. I used to think revenge would make the pain worth it. It didn't. It just made me a mirror of everything I hated. The pen moved easily, maybe too easily. You once said I didn't understand what you needed. Maybe you were right. But I do now, because I learned what I needed too. Peace. I stopped, staring at the ink bleeding into the fibers. Peace. The word felt heavier than forgiveness. The next day, I sat across from Dr. Harris again. He smiled when I entered. "It's been a while." "Long enough," I said. "You look lighter. I burned a few ghosts. Metaphorically, I hope." "Mostly," he chuckled. "So tell me, Ethan, what brought you back?" "I wrote her a letter," I said. "Did you send it?" "No. Why not?" "Because she doesn't need to read it." "I needed to write it," he nodded. "Good. That's progress." "Feels strange," I said. "Like I'm grieving someone who's still alive." "Maybe you're not grieving her," he said gently. "Maybe you're grieving the version of you that loved her." I looked down. "He was naive. He was hopeful," Harris corrected. "There's a difference." "Hope nearly killed me." He leaned forward. "And yet, here you are, still breathing." I laughed quietly. "Barely counts as living some days." "Then live the small days first," he said. "The big ones will follow." I leaned back. "You know what's strange? I thought closure would feel louder." He smiled. "It rarely does." I expected fireworks, vindication, something. What you got instead was silence. Exactly. "Silence," he said, "is where peace begins." I frowned. "You said that before, and you finally heard it. That landed deeper than I wanted it to." Harris studied me. "Do you still think about her?" "Not the way I used to." "How so?" "I used to replay her leaving. Now I replay myself staying." He tilted his head. "Meaning?" "I kept trying to fix what wasn't broken, just lost." He nodded slowly. "Acceptance doesn't mean approval, Ethan. It means acknowledging the truth without resistance." "I'm trying," I said. "You're succeeding," he said. "You stopped chasing echoes." Echoes. The versions of her, the versions of you, the versions of love that only existed in your memory. I smiled faintly. "You make pain sound poetic." "It can be," he said, "when it teaches you." That night, I went home and pulled the letter from the drawer. The paper was slightly crumpled from where I'd held it too tightly. I read it again. Silently this time. "I don't hate you anymore. I don't even miss you. I just hope the silence I gave you feels like peace, not punishment." I added one more line before setting it down. "Thank you for teaching me that love without loyalty is illusion." Jake called around 9. "You all right?" "Fine," I said. "You don't sound fine." "I'm thinking." "About her?" "About me," he paused. "That's new?" "Yeah," I said. "Feels strange. Like I'm not at war anymore." He laughed softly. "Guess you won." "No," I said. "I just stopped fighting." He went quiet. "What are you gonna do with the letter?" "Burn it. Closure." "Cleansing," I said. "Need company?" "No. Some endings are meant to be witnessed alone." The wind was sharp that night. I walked to the small balcony outside my apartment, the city humming below like a machine that never sleeps. I lit a match. For a second, the flame flickered weakly like it was reconsidering. Then it caught. The paper curled fast, edges blackening, words dissolving into gold and ash. I watched each sentence disappear, every accusation and apology turning to smoke. When it was almost gone, I whispered, "Goodbye." The flame went out. Clara called just after midnight. "You awake?" she asked, barely. "I heard about the final audit. They cleared her name." "I know. You okay with that?" "I'm glad," I said. In a way, she deserved one good ending. Clara was quiet for a long moment. "You really mean that?" "Yeah. You've changed. I hope so." She hesitated. "So what now?" "I rebuild," I said. "But this time I do it for me." "You sound peaceful." "I am," I said. "Finally." After we hung up, I sat there with the last bit of ash clinging to the wind. It didn't sting. It didn't burn. It just floated. I realized then that grief doesn't vanish. It transforms. Like smoke, it rises, reshapes, and becomes something lighter. Maybe that's what healing is, by not forgetting, just carrying the weight differently. Before going inside, I spoke to the night like it could hear me. "I don't forgive you because you deserve it," I said softly. "I forgive you because I deserve peace." The words didn't echo. They didn't need to. They just stayed. Quiet. Final, real. When I closed the balcony door, I caught my reflection in the glass. For the first time, it didn't look like a stranger. It looked like someone I could live with. The boardroom smelled like ambition, polished wood, strong coffee, and the faint hum of possibility. It wasn't Axiom anymore. This was mine. Clara stood near the window, tablet in hand, a rare smile softening her usual restraint. Congratulations, Ethan, the acquisition's official. We own Paragon Systems now, I nodded. How bad was the negotiation? Not bad, she said. You actually smiled once. I'm trying new things, she chuckled. Therapy's paying off. Or maybe I just ran out of people to fight, she raised an eyebrow. You sure? There's always another battle waiting. Not today, I said. Today's quiet. Jake entered with his usual swagger. Boss, press wants a statement. Draft something simple, I said. No drama. Just progress, he grinned. You're allergic to celebration, you know that? I prefer results to champagne, Clara smirked. You say that, but I saw you enjoy that one sip last time. One sip doesn't make me sentimental. It does, she said. You just won't admit it. I looked around the room, the glass walls, the skyline burning in morning light. It didn't feel like victory anymore. It felt like peace. Jake glanced at me. You're thinking again. I'm remembering, I said. He exchanged a look with Clara. About her? No, I said quietly. About me. We finished the meeting with signatures, handshakes, and polite applause. When the others left, Clara stayed behind. You did it, she said softly. Did what? Came full circle, I smiled faintly. I don't believe in circles, just progress lines. Then maybe you finally found yours. Maybe, she hesitated. You know, I used to think revenge would destroy you. It almost did. And now? Now I think it rebuilt me differently, she studied me. Better? Wiser, I said, calmer. Maybe even grateful. For what? For everything that fell apart. She nodded slowly. Closure looks good on you. It feels better than it looks, I said. After she left, I sat alone for a few minutes. The city stretching beneath me, familiar yet somehow new. My phone buzzed with a message from Dr. Harris. You missed your session today. Should I assume that's good news? I typed back, no session needed. Lesson learned. Then I laughed, not bitterly, not ironically, but honestly. Jake poked his head back in. Heading out? Yeah, big plans? Just air, I said. Haven't breathed properly in years, he smiled. You sound free. I think I am. Never thought I'd see the day. Me neither. Outside, the world felt lighter. The air was cool. The sunlight sharp. I walked slowly down the steps. Past the glass doors reflecting a man I barely recognized. Taller somehow, though I hadn't grown. At the curb, Clara caught up. You're really leaving without a press photo? Let them imagine it, I said, she laughed. Still mysterious. Still me. She looked at me carefully. No regrets? None that still matter, she nodded. Then this is it? This is the start, I said. She smiled. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Clara. I got into the car, rolled down the window, and let the wind cut through the quiet. For a long moment, I didn't think about boardrooms or betrayals or ghosts. I just breathed. Then I opened the voice recorder on my phone, the one I'd once used to document every wound, every lie. My reflection in the glass was clear this time. No shadows left behind it. I hit record. My name is Ethan Cole, I said softly. And this is the last entry. I paused, letting the hum of the city fill the background. She left me once, but I left her behind forever. Another pause. Some ghosts stay buried, I continued, and some teach you how to live. The words settled in the silence like a heartbeat finding rhythm again. I stopped the recording, saved it, and didn't look back. At the next light, a street musician played a soft tune on a violin. It drifted through the open window, gentle, imperfect, alive. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the need to control anything. I just let the music happen. When the car stopped at the park, I got out. The same park where I used to walk after the divorce papers came through. Same benches, same sky, but a different man beneath it. A couple laughed nearby. A kid ran past chasing a balloon. The world hadn't changed. I looked up at the sky. "Thank you," I whispered. Not to anyone, not to her, just to the moment, because for once I didn't need more. Back in the car, Jake looked at me through the rearview mirror. "You good?" "Better," I said. "Feels weird, doesn't it?" "Peace." "It does," I admitted. "But I think I can get used to it." He nodded. "You look different." "I am," I said. I finally stopped waiting for her shadow to move. "Then where to now?" "Forward," I said simply. The car pulled away. I leaned back, sunlight brushing my face, and for the first time in a long time, I smiled. Not as a survivor, not as a man haunted by what was lost, but as someone finally reborn.